Hey, thanks for joining us live on the floor at Condo Conference 2025. We're at the Congress Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Earth. And I'm glad that you joined us. Please don't hesitate to subscribe and tell a friend about it. Somebody in the industry will certainly appreciate the idea that they just got sent a really good topic for discussion right here in the real estate management industry. We are representing the REMI Network and Condo Business Magazine, one of my all-time favorites. I have never been featured in here even once because I am not an expert. But today we have one with us on a topic that seems like it should be getting more attention than it is already. Jennifer Hogan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Pretium Engineering, Inc. You guys are on the floor and exhibiting here at the show.
We are, yeah. We have a booth here today.
Very cool. Now, it's interesting. I am just learning about all of this new funding that has become available to take condos to net zero, and as part of the reserve fund, be able to build a better strategy. I guess it's called the Atmospheric Fund is behind it.
Yeah, that's right. So the Government of Canada has provided some funding, and essentially the Atmospheric Fund, the way I understand it, has been selected to sort of administer the program.
Okay.
So through them, they've gone ahead and pre-qualified a number of different consulting engineering firms that are all capable of providing sort of both reserve fund studies and energy audits or decarbonization strategies.
So already what we need to replace, all the major items that are going to be headed our way down the road, we have to think about all that, the mechanical, the air, the envelope, all of that. But now the government is going to allow you to think a little bit beyond that and take a look at how to do this and be more net zero on carbon.
That's exactly right, yeah. So it allows us to kind of like layer the two things together. So if you were to get an enhanced reserve fund study, essentially what you'll have is you will have your business as usual reserve fund study.
Okay.
And then you will have a separate almost like track or version, if you want to think of it that way, that takes the results of sort of the energy and carbon audit that we would do and layers in maybe additional projects or a different way to tackle business as usual projects that would start to lead you towards that decarbonization pathway.
That's
and
wild.
So, yeah, you can see kind of then side by side the difference between the two, how it would affect your funding, and it allows you then to kind of potentially pick and choose some potential projects you might want to weave into your plan and incorporate for your building to start moving us in that sort of greener direction.
And it's not like this is costing you more to do it. The net zero examination of what you're going to do with your building. Really, it's at that moment where you can make the decision and say, okay, it's not going to cost us more to do it this way, to use these materials, to find this kind of net zero supplier.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So there's different levels of projects and how complex they are and what type of changes they really mean from a cost and budget perspective is all part of the understanding that you would gain from doing this type of a study. And through the funding that the Atmospheric Fund has access to, you can actually get all of that information with a significant incentive granted to you to help cover the additional costs. So really, you're likely going to be getting all of this wealth of additional information to make better decisions about your building in the long term without having to necessarily spend any additional money to get that information.
Is it a lot of dough to get the additional study done by you guys?
Sorry?
Is it a lot more money to get the additional study done?
So like if you weren't doing it through the funding, it would be a fair bit of additional money to get it done because it is a separate study.
Yep.
It does involve, in addition to doing the reserve, actually doing a whole building energy model. So we would collect all that information, model the building, run a number of different scenarios for different types of renovations that would impact energy and carbon.
Okay.
And all of that gets synthesized then into this alternate capital plan.
That's so cool. I think it's so neat that it's what a great way to advance the industry overall. I mean, it's great that this fund is there, and I know that it's a capital investment that our federal government has said they were going to make, and now they're doing it. They put this money aside to do it with. I think it's great that we can see the checks and balances in how this money is going to go out and actually effectively used.
That's exactly right, yeah. And I mean, for me, I find it incredibly interesting because I'm heavily in the energy and carbon reduction space. That's my entire role. I'm actually in the middle of taking this really interesting course from the Climate Risk Institute, and it's all about climate change adaptation and mitigation. And more, even as someone already who is in that space, this course is kind of opening my eyes to some of what our potential future climate is going to look like.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, there's multiple pieces to the puzzle for how we have to tackle our buildings, because they really are one of our biggest contributors. Doing the most we can to reduce our impact is only one piece of that, but also making sure that our buildings are designed and then renovated in a way that's going to actually properly address what that future climate looks like is also really important as well.
I was going to say, okay, we have climate change. Buildings will need to adapt to that inevitability,
That's
even
right.
while we're trying to take steps to reduce. We do need to be prepared.
Yeah.
What does a climate change mean to the roof? Does it mean to the
Exactly.
to the chiller, to anything in the building? Even a slight change can have a heavy impact on the length and time that it'll last.
It absolutely can. And I mean, even something as simple as many of our older buildings don't necessarily have central cooling systems.
Okay.
A lot of times you see things like window units, and that's what they're sort of relying on for cooling. I think a lot of people will agree, even from just this past summer, we had a lot of really hot...
Hold on one sec. I think we're going to win. I'm going to take you back to where you were. I'm so
No
sorry.
problem.
I just don't want to.
Yeah, that's okay. Totally understand.
Where would be a good point for us to pick it up? Do you remember what you were going to say? Nick, can you go tight on... yeah, would you mind? Yeah, and then Jennifer can pick up her sentence from
Sure.
there. Go ahead.
So I think okay, how do I want to go in? So one really good example for people, even just from this past summer, many of our existing buildings aren't built with central cooling. A lot of them rely on, for example, window units.
Right.
And we can all agree this past summer was pretty hot by all things considered. I remember thinking, how many more days at 40 degrees are we going to have?
Exactly.
Well, when you start to delve into some of the actual climate science, one of the really interesting facts I actually just was looking at this past week, they're talking about by 2050, 2080, in the city of Hamilton, we could potentially see even as much as almost double the number of cooling degree days that we typically would design
Right.
for. So when you start looking at stuff like that, it kind of has that aha moment where it's
we need efficiency.
there's things we need to do for our buildings, and I don't think enough of us as practitioners, building owners, any of us have really started to implement those kinds of projects, and I think it's something that we're going to start to see a lot more.
Yeah, I think you're the tip of the spear on this one, to be honest with you. As we are headed in this way, engineering must be the first consideration.
Yeah,
And how we
yeah.
implement, how we do this with efficiency, how we do this with the greatest results. So this is fascinating. Where can people find out more and reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can find out more on our company's website. Everything is there. My contact information is there as well. You can
Okay.
search me up on our career page. It's just www.pretiumengineering.com.
We'll make sure that the info is in the description. People can reach out to you.
Fantastic.
Wow, Jennifer, this has been fascinating, and I wish you guys great success in
Thank you.
getting more. And please get this assessment done. It's the money is there from the government to do it with. Why not think about doing it the right way, and preparing for the future in that way? Thanks so much for joining us. We'll encourage you to subscribe, tell a friend, and hit the notification button or whatever it is the kids are saying these days. And we'll see you next time.